will realize it when you reach my age. I have graduated more than 25 years ago, and after graduating in April 88, this is the first time at your portal, and I really thank the Office of Alumni Affairs and International Relations who have invited me here at a good time, November, which is not so cold, and I really took the opportunity to be amongst you. But let me caveat this talk by telling a very bureaucratic kind of an important caveat that the views are personal and do not represent the views of the government. The life's influence. Sometimes something happens to each one of us which influences us. Let me be very honest with you. You people are young. You may not believe, but try to read one book which has influenced me in my life greatly, and I will tell you why. It is the autobiography of Mahatma Gandhi. I am not being politically correct in this place or incorrect at this place, but why that autobiography impressed me. I came from a lower middle class family background, and I was a very weak boy. I think when I entered IIT, I was 47 kg in weight, and when I graduated, I was around 49 or 50 kg. Let me tell you, I am now 77 kg. So there has been a good change in my weight. How many of you understand Hindi if I just transfer to some of the critical pieces in Hindi? Anybody has problem in not understanding the language? I use it very sparingly. So डर बहुत लगता था. I used to be afraid कि कोई बड़ा आदमी या मेरे से मोटा आदमी, in Maharashtra they say जाड़ा आदमी. So anybody Maharashtrian, they would understand jada. I stayed 3 years in Bombay, so I picked up some Marathi lingo as well. So somebody beats me up. So डर लगता था, भागते थे, पीट ना दे. Doesn't beat you. But I learned one thing: if you get beaten up, you must get up. Never be a coward. So when I read Mahatma's autobiography, I heard this man had all the vices. He had the thought of sex, of cowardice, but each time he got over it by his willpower. So if he can do it, why can't I do it? So I started exercising my willpower. So whatever the earlier speakers told you is only the typical or special examples of your willpower. You want to do something, believe that you can do it and do it. So whatever BlackBerry tells you, love what you do and do what you love, just introspect and you will see that it is your own willpower. You want to do something, do it. It is achievable. Each one of you has a leader within you. How many of you have watched the play called Waiting for Godot? Okay. So let's not be a country where we are waiting for Godot, somebody who is to deliver for us. Some leader is to come from heaven and will deliver for us, to us. Nothing will happen. Each one of us has a Godot within you. You can do it. So the Singaporean example given by Arunabha, or the 4 examples, not to spit, etc. These are leadership examples. These leadership examples show that there is a leader within you. Exercise it. Even if others are not doing the same act of infractions, like is breaking the queue, spitting, spilling the litter, I will not do it. Why? Because it is the correct civil behavior. I will not break the queue. So this is the first example, lesson which you must imbibe on yourself. The second is the act of courage or bravery. Now, समाज में, in society, गुंडा कैसे पनपता है? If you go abroad, The first time I was abroad was in London. You break the queue. What happens? The queue master never instructs you go and follow the queue. You will get such stares from the fellow people who are standing in the queue, or all people will protest, please come in the queue, that you will be ashamed and you will go back and stand in the queue. And that is invariably what happens with the Indian people, especially the politicians and the bureaucrats who go on official visits. They are attuned to breaking the queue. So they learn their first lessons of etiquette when they move outside the country, and I have seen almost all of them getting ashamed and standing in the queue. What happens when you enter the Indian customs immigration? All of them rush from the flight, as the example given of the traffic here. Now if you time the actual waiting period, some of you must be doing operations research. Actual average waiting time for a car when there is no discipline is much more when there is a discipline. So the average waiting time to process the immigration counters, the immigration people who come and enter the country, is more than if they were standing in the queue. But the hurry to break the queue and get ahead derive the satisfaction of breaking the queue. So that's very unleadership like. Now I do not know what they say, doodle likes, etc. What is a leader? I don't know anything like that. I will only give you one example. I do not know how many of you want to or aspire to join the government. But please, do not take up a job because it is comfortable. See, it is only the human life, which is most cared for amongst all species in the world or in the universe. Your productive years are going to be around 30 to 35 years out of the total span of life, maybe 70 to 75. That is, 50% of your life will be going for nurturing. That is when you are able to be productive. And some portion of your time will be going where you will be spending out of your own savings, or as in other countries, the government will be, or the general productive group is going to support you. So, after you graduate and after a few years of education, you are going to have the most productive phase of your life. It will look good to get employed, and money becomes the biggest criteria. My son is also of your age. He is in a national law school. So the greatest enthuse is that, okay, get into the corporate law and get a big fat salary. You will just peter out very fast. There is no growth beyond a point. I did very well in computer science. I was the second topper. I had a very good CGPA. When I joined a corporate firm, I saw very, very fast I'm going to peter out in this job. So I moved out to Tata Institute of Fundamental Research to do research, did some good research publications. But then you see, in India, the entry into a faculty position is also not on pure merits. There are so many factors in real life. I had an option. The only solution was, or the kind of, an easy thing, get settled in life. So I entered civil services without any great noble motive. But I always thought that God was extremely kind to me. Always you remember, have one wish in your life. Suppose God is standing before you. Wish before Him, ki mujhko ye de do. And then promise yourself, I am not going to ask anything else later. You will find yourself in a very sorry and miserable state of affairs. So be thankful that you are here. This is an opportunity. Do not desire. I am only repeating what Gita says, but this is my experience. Do not desire. Sometimes when desire happens, as somebody said, when there is some rejection in your life, it might be for the good. So do not desire a particular event to happen to you. Do your action without desires. Now, I may be very spiritual here. What they say is Nishkam Karya. Please follow it, believe me, and do not rush for easy options in life. You are going to repent, you are going to have a mid-age life crisis. Do what your passion says and have belief that you will be able to do it. Have belief, do what your passion says. Now, I do not know how many of you aspire to have a career in government, but once you desire to have a career in government, don't go because it is less paying than in the private sector. That cannot be the motivation. For example, a soldier goes to defend the country's borders. What is his motivation? What is his motivation? He takes pride in his job. If his commanding officers tell he go and shoot, he doesn't think twice. अगर शहीद होता है, पूरा गांव जो सेलिब्रेशन करता है, पूरा गांव जो प्राइड लेता है उस फैमिली पर, it is a spectacle to be seen, to be believed. You may achieve anything in life, you are not going to get that respect in the village which that Shaheed soldier's family derives from that Shahadat. So, money is not a substitute of everything. So do what your passion says. If your passion is in making money, do go and make money. But then be a Bill Gates. Because at one stage you are going to exhaust yourself in making money. Now in government, what I have found is very simple. I don't need much of fundas. It's so simple. As somebody said, I think, somebody said, you must know your ecosystem. Somebody talked about Mukesh Ambani and all these Ambanis. But I'll tell you what Dhirubhai said. How Dhirubhai trained his two sons. And this is from the horse's mouth. And believe it, studying the ecosystem is very important. You may be any educated person, like most bureaucrats are or most of you managers would be. But you know, the politician at the top level or the entrepreneur, it's not the managers, the entrepreneurs, the real entrepreneurs, they are at the same plane. They only know the ecosystem. And they know the ecosystem well, and then they know what is to be done and they get the work done out of it. I was just here, I think, a fellow colleague tell me that the Ambani strategy is 3x. That is at the top management. They'll have, if there is an X demand, they'll put 3x demand, and there is a, each one of us defines a strategy, the others are going to talk about it, and there is going to be a discussion, one thing is taken. Now this is at a level below what the job of Mukesh or Anil is, or what the job of the real entrepreneur or KM Birla is. You know what they do? What Dhirubhai Ambani did? Dhirubhai Ambani sent his two boys in the Ivy League business schools. So after they graduated and came back, he told a family teacher who was a simple BCom, and he's a very popular teacher in IIM Bangalore. He comes and lectures. He's a simple BCom. He has no further degree. He teaches them commercial law. The students of IIM Bangalore in MBA, and he is the most popular guest lecturer across all batches. And the story is, Dhirubhai said, he come and teach my two sons and teach them excise, customs and sales tax laws. Application, how to apply those laws. Teach them those three laws. Then they will know how business operates. And some other laws also, teach them, then they will know how the business operates. I have been in government for 23 years. And you know who is the best operator of government? Not the bureaucrats, the brokers, who are hardly class 10 pass, class 12 pass. They know the ecosystem thoroughly well. They know how the job is to be got done. And they know the person who is going to sign on the files and the person who needs the end service. They match both of them. They know nothing, but they know the ecosystem well. So if you want to do well, there is no substitute to learning. Learn with a passion. Learn the ecosystem. If you do not learn the ecosystem, most people who join the IAS, they do not learn the ecosystem. They are seen confounding, totally confounded, groping with matters. What their lower babus tell, they do. Now, why I could succeed whatever I did is because I knew my ecosystem at the back of my hand. And when I knew this particular game, I had drafted the complete order exposing the entire business model in terms of the specific pieces of law on a Saturday. And I stayed put in the job. Monday at 10 o'clock, I issued that order and I left. So you may be having great deal of courage. If you do not know the ecosystem, your courage is only going to make you bang your head against the wall or आप अपने को जख्मी करोगे, nothing will come out of it. So learn the ecosystem, have courage, have faith in your own being that you can and you will do it. And fourth, very important, and I will end this talk because I may be taking up time of my next speaker and further questions and answers, is a thing which I do not know whether there is an English translation for that word, but in Hindi it is called niyat. You know the meaning of niyat? In English, when you commit a crime in law, they say mens rea, whether you had the intention to do it or not. So when you commit a crime, you must satisfy two components. It's called actus rea, that is you must have done the physical act, and mens rea, that is the mental intention must be there. So niyat. Now, actus rea may be, or your physical act may be same in government. That is may not be truly valid in the private sector. But your intention is very important. I'll give you a simple story that why the intent is important, and we'll end this talk. This is a story which was told by my mother when I was a small child. And it is from the mythology. And let me say that in Hindi, if anybody doesn't understand the story, just raise your hand, I'll try to translate it. एक गांव में अकाल पड़ा, बारिश नहीं हुई, तो भविष्यवाणी हुई, 2-3 साल अकाल पड़ गया. भविष्यवाणी means voice from the heavens that Lord Shiva is unhappy, you have to उन भोले बाबा को प्रसन्न करो. So how to please him? They said, okay, you give offerings to the Shiv Linga, the Linga in the village. So people queued up. So big farmers came, big jamidar came, big wealthy people came with balti bhar bhar ke doodh and purest Murrah buffalo milk, purest of pure milk. An old woman also got in the queue. She had a small lota, a diluted watered milk. So somebody said sarcastically to that lady, that, hey Budiya, hey old lady, why are you there in the queue? If Lord is not being happy, तो प्रसन्न नहीं हो रहे हमारे इन ऑफरिंग से, offerings of pure milk in the full bucket. Your diluted milk, you are going to annoy the Lord. Get out from the queue. She just stands. She is pushed aside. She suffers that insult. People have poured their milk. At last, she gets a chance. She pours her own lota of milk. And lo and behold, the clouds appear and there is thunder and lightning and rain. Now in Kailash Parvat, Lord is sitting there. Sees the Parvati is, confounded. Lord, what have you done? You got so many offerings. You have not acted. But this lady has cheated you. She has put diluted milk. And you have chosen to bless her. Bless the village by her offering. The Lord smiles. Says, Parvati, it is not the physical act, it is the intention. What intention she could have? She says, all the other persons are making shows. दिखावा कर रहे हैं, देखो मेरा ये है, I am doing this, I am doing that. In the queue, their main intention is not to please me, but to demonstrate to others what they are doing for themselves. This lady has a very simple thought. That Bhole Baba may suffer indigestion if I give her pure milk like my grandchild. So as I give milk diluted milk to my grandchild, the Lord doesn't have the suffer indigestion. By my offering undiluted milk, I must dilute it. So she has taken such care with devotion as to her grandchild and offered that milk to me, that I am nothing but, to get pleased. So the Lord cries and the Parvati cries. So again you see that intention is very important in whatever you do. To be a leader, I do not know how many in the corporate world will agree. They will see through your veneer. What you do, they will see through your veneer if your intention is not to act as a leader. You have to act with the right intent. You may suffer the loss initially, but if your intent is right, noble, that you are working for the good with a purpose, then definitely you are going to command the respect of your team and be a leader. But if you take shortcuts, then that business is not going to survive for beyond 1 or 2 generations and you would be over. So I have tried to summarize you with my own small examples in government and in life what a leader is. These are not theories, not management theories, but I always learn from here, sitting here, because they are all people who have actually practiced, and I may have experienced more than learned from books. Thank you very much. Again, thank you for inviting me here. I'll take your questions after the last talk. Thank you.